Good afternoon, and welcome to the Select Board's meeting of June 15, 2023. It shouldn't be a long meeting at all. We have a few things to go over before we go into executive session. So we'll go right through the agenda. There's no signing of the warrant. There's no public hearings right now. There's no scheduled appointments for this meeting. Town administrators report. There is none until our next meeting. And no old business. Tom, anything from you?
No, sir.
None from me either. In new business, we were going to appoint an assistant town administrator, an executive, an economic development director, and right now I'll turn it over to the town administrator to give us an update on that.
Yeah, at this time, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to reschedule that. There's some additional applications and things I want to look at, or we want to look at, so we would not move forward on that tonight.
Very good. Okay, sometimes you got to be right, and you got to be knowing what we got to do to make this. It's a very important position, and we got to do it right. The other thing we're going to be talking on new business is the town of Hopkinton is requesting a waiver for a bylaw filing fee, and I'll give everybody what they would be looking for in a letter that Mr. Villani received, as well as the Milford Select Board members. On behalf of the town of Hopkinton, Department of Public Works, and pursuant to the regulations of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, 310 CMR 10, referred to now as WPA regulations, and the Town of Milford Wetlands Administration bylaw, Perry Corporation is submitting a notice of intent to the Milford Conservation Commission seeking to construct an alternate access route in order to make the previous approved repairs to the left downstream wall of the Lake Maspinock Dam. This letter is submitted to the Milford Board of Selectmen to request a waiver from the municipal NOI filing fees established by the bylaw. The Hopkinton DPW, as the applicant, has received approval to replace the deteriorating downstream wall located east of the spillway. Following approval from the Conservation Commission in January, issues arose with the approved construction access route. As such, the applicant is proposing an alternate access route from Pine Island Road to the dam, which will require an additional notice of intent filing. The Hopkinton DPW, as a municipal entity, is exempt from filing fee requirements with the WPA regulations. While the bylaw establishes additional municipal filing fees, Section 4 of the bylaw states the Conservation Commission may waive the filing fee for an application request for determination or application for a certificate of compliance filed by a government agency. Per our discussion with the Conservation Commission, a waiver request must be formally approved by the Select Board. On behalf of the Hopkinton DPW, Perry respectfully request that the town Milford Select Board consider the waiver request at your meeting on June 15, 2023. Thank you for your consideration. Again, it's something that they need to do to comply with the Wetlands Protection Act. They had a previous access route which they cannot use anymore, so they have to have an alternative route that may require an additional filing fee. They are a municipal entity, as we are, so I'd make a recommendation that we entertain a motion that we exempt the filing fee.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we waive any town of Milford filing fees related to the Lake Maspinock Dam left downstream wall repair.
Okay, and I second that. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's unanimous as well. Next on the agenda is invitation to speak. Jamie? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Paul. So you guys actually breezed through the bulk of the agenda? Mm-hmm. Wow.
There was nothing there.
There was nothing there.
Excellent.
Right. It was.
I want to say that there was a terrific event at the Annex at Pheno Field with a certain amount of food vendors and stuff, and some of them were talking about the recent development in Milford related to the planning board and the bylaws about food trucks. And I hope that the select board can this falls under planning department, I guess, in general, but I don't think they're going to make a public statement about what's going on, and I don't know if they're working quickly to resolve the issue that is complicating having food trucks in Milford. So maybe if the select board could light a little fire under them, or just ask them the right questions and hope that they come back with answers, it would be really useful to resolve this issue, which is making it more difficult for food truck vendors who work successfully in dozens of towns across the state to do the same roll-up, easy work that they do in communities all around us, right here in this town. Right now, they're getting a little bit of extra grief beyond just getting the regular permits that they need from all the towns that they get them in. I mean, these guys are highly regulated, but apparently there's something even trickier happening in Milford that might not necessarily be necessary, because a lot of residents of Milford and the state of Massachusetts are regularly going to see food trucks all over the place.
Right. I know right now our town council and our zoning officers are working on something to solve this matter, to make it workable for both sides.
Good. I hope it gets resolved sensibly and quickly.
Yeah, because I believe the past bylaw was an antiquated bylaw and whatnot, and again, they're trying to make it more updated and again, something that's agreeable to both sides as well.
Great. That's enough for today.
Good, thank you.
Take care, Jim.
Okay. Next on the agenda is correspondence. Tom?
I do not have any.
And I do not have any either. And I'd like to entertain a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of, to discuss with our Labor Council regarding the Fire Department collective bargaining update, as well as to consider the marketing and value of town-owned property, real estate assets, because the chair determined that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body, and also to discuss the matter of O'Laughlin versus Town of Milford and others, with the Superior Court Civil Action Number 1885C, V0170C, to receive attorney-client communication of legal advice regarding reasonably anticipated litigation or legal issues, the disclosure of which would compromise the town's position. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss Labor Council, Fire Department collective bargaining update, to consider marketing the value of town-owned property, real estate assets, because the chair determined that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body, and for the board, with the exception of myself, because I will recuse myself, to address the matter of O'Laughlin versus the town of Milford in the Worcester Superior Court, and given that it's litigation and legal issues, the disclosure of which would compromise the town's position.
Okay. Then I have a motion by Tom, and I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, aye, aye. A motion unanimously approved to enter an executive session on a roll call vote. A motion to adjourn this regular session of June 15, 2023.
And we will not be going.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So the motion has been made and second. The Board of Health will not be returning to open session after this executive session. I thank you all for joining us for this short meeting.
You said Board of Health. This select.
Oh, Select Board, I'm sorry.
You wear too many hats. You wear too many hats, my
I wear too many hats. Thanks a lot for joining us, and again, happy Father's Day to all the dads.